Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. It's Christmas! And I don't know about you guys, but nothing speaks of Yuletide cheer and goodwill to all men than a sleigh ride through the post-apocalyptic Wasteland. Yes. Folks, we're back in the land of Mad Max. Or maybe not so much Mad Max. More his comrade in arms, Imperator Furiosa, played in Mad Max Fury Road, of course, by Charlize Theron. Now, she's not returning for this movie, which is a prequel surrounding her character. So there's no Max, even though it has got a rather ridiculous, and I must admit I don't like this, it's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Well, it isn't though, is it? Unless there's a few secrets we don't yet know, where Max actually will be in there at some point. It's just set in the Wasteland universe of Mad Max and the post-apocalyptic barbaric war zone that has sprung up in the absence of civilization. Now, the trailer dropped for Furiosa a few days ago. I did a reaction video to it. We watched the trailer a few times, and I was more than pleased. In fact, I was ecstatic. Me and my son, who's equally a big Mad Max fan as me, but he's gone further. He's played the video game as well, which is behind me there somewhere. I couldn't do that. No. That's not for me, that. So I'm just here for the guzzling. No, I'm just here for guzzling whiskey. Cheers, y'all. Cheers. We watched Fury Road that same day, and I can say safely, as far as I'm concerned, Furiosa visually, stylistically bleeds directly into what you see in Fury Road. The two are sisters, sister movies. Fury Road is different from the original Mad Max trilogy, but then again, the original Mad Max trilogy is three entirely different movies. 79's Mad Max, Max Rokitansky, superstar champion of the MFP, Main Force Patrol, is vastly different from the Max that you see in Mad Max 2. Some of you guys know it as the Road Warrior. And he's different again in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It's funny how in the opening monologue, the opening narration to Mad Max 2, the feral kid, Emil Minty, it's not him doing the voice, but he is giving the backstory to Max, and in that blighted land, he learned to live again. Well, it's not until Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome that Max actually begins to live again and really find compassion, benevolence, and look after other people. Not just people he needs beside him to get to do whatever he has to do to survive, and then ditch him at the end of it all and just go on his lonesome. He saves people, and he has a sense of humour, and he's a different character. He's more rounded. I like Beyond Thunderdome. It's not the best. It's the least of the three original movies, but it's still a visual extravaganza, and it's enormously entertaining. Nothing but imaginative and innovative and really clever and witty, and I love it to bits. But it lacks that adrenaline rush. It just doesn't have the violence. It is, and I hate using the phrase, it's the family-friendly version of Mad Max. But as I said before about the evolution of the character, that's why it kind of makes sense, and so I don't mind it in that context. But of course, Max was back with Fury Road. The violence, the action, the adventure, the adrenaline rush, the vehicular carnage, the metallic, muscular mayhem was off the charts, off the rails. And yeah, it's a modern action masterpiece. Fast and Furious, go suck eggs, go suck exhaust fumes, because they'll be CGI as well. Okay, now I've mentioned CGI, let's address this. Since that trailer dropped, I've noticed quite a big backlash against Furiosa. Not because, there's no Max in it. Not because, it's told from a female's perspective. You got that with Fury Road. There was a massive, furious backlash against Fury Road because Max was appeared to be a sideline character, a supporting cast member in his own movie. And it was steered mainly by Furiosa. Because she struck such a chord with people that Miller just thought, George Miller, director and creator of Mad Max, co-writer of this and the previous installment, in fact all of the installments, with long-term collaborator Nick Lahouris, however you pronounce it. And so he's known where he's going with all these movies. So he knew that Furiosa, I'm going to do something with this as well. And he's getting on a bit. He's not like Ridley Scott. Sir Ridley, who churns out epic movies in his lunchtime. And he's, what, 85? Whatever the hell he is, like, ridiculous age. But George Miller's about 75, maybe 79, something like that. He's got this coming out May 24th, 2024. And then there will be a Mad Max 5, ostensibly. Now, whether Tom Hardy returns for that, we don't yet know. I mean, it probably will, but besides all the sort of the fan-baiting backlash that this trailer has received, a lot of people are raking up all the old mud from behind the scenes of Fury Road. We know Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron did not get along. We also know that Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy together did not get along with George Miller too well. Miller didn't like the experience of working with them. But look what they produced. They're all professionals and they came up with the goods. So it worked regardless. So obviously Charlize Theron is not returning to play Furiosa here because it's a prequel to what we saw in Fury Road. It's her backstory, it's her odyssey. That's what it is. A Mad Max saga. That's a subtitle that's grim as hell. It's as bad as a Star Wars story. Oh, get lost. But the backlash to this movie since that trailer dropped has been about the CG. And it looks cheap. What fucking trailer were you looking at? As I said, me and Luke, my son, we watched Fury Road afterwards. And the two were like, they bled together perfectly well. The stylistic choices, the visuals, the high octane action, the camera work, everything is exactly what you saw in Fury Road. But people are saying, oh, it looks cheap, it looks shoddy. Well, some of the effect shots in it, some of the visuals, especially as that opening scroll comes towards you, 45 years after the collapse, she was taken from her family, and all the blade comes flying towards you as we're following what looked like a horde of war boys on motorbikes heading out into the wasteland. Yeah, that is not finished CG. That's not fully rendered, and it looks deliberately cartoon-like. George Miller, let's not forget that in 1979 in Mad Max, and then in Mad Max 2 in 81, you have two characters whose eyes literally pop out of their skulls when they're faced by an oncoming truck. I'm going to get squished to hell here. Their eyes literally cartoon-like pop out of their heads, like they do in all the Tex Avery and Tom and Jerry cartoons. You know, Hanna-Barbera. It's just that stuff. He's having fun. It's a visual flourish. That's all it is. So in this trailer, those effects you're seeing mostly probably aren't fully rendered. But even so, apart from that opening shot in the trailer, they look great. What the hell are you people talking about? It's not shot in Namibia. I made that mistake when I was talking about the trailer. Because it looked just like that totally orange, ochre tinted, really retina, seducing colour scheme for the vast orange Namibian desert. They're not there. They're actually gone back to Australia. They've gone back to Western Australia, to Mundi and Broken Hill. Mad Max 2, it's Broken Hill. You see in the trailer that Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa is on that highway. She's on the highway, and if you're a fan, you go, yes, we're back. Just to recap, why did they shoot in Namibia? Because there'd been unusual heavy rainfall in that area, and what was once arid desert in Western Australia was now rich and fertile. It was like the green place, which is what Furiosa has been abducted from and wants to get back there. Fury Road, the movie Fury Road, is her escape and revenge to save the brides from eternal slavery and pumping out mutated children for Immortan Joe in the Citadel. She's saving them, and she's going back to her all-female tribe, the Vuvolini, in the green place, which was a rich, fertile land. But of course, in the cut throughout Mad Max Fury Road, They will drive through a horrible bog and they'll get stuck down there and stranded. They finally get their way out of there and they get to, well, oh, that's bait. They meet the remnants of the Bubbolini, the mothers, and there's only about 7 of them left. It's a handful of them, but they recognise Furiosa because she was abducted from their tribe by Immortan Joe or somebody working for Immortan Joe years ago. And horribly and really emotionally, Furiosa is then informed that no, that bog you passed through, that is the green place. That's what happened. And you've got the mother of seeds, or it's called, the old granny who collects all the seeds to try to propagate, you know, another fertile land if they find somewhere away from all the strife and all that. Good luck with that. Well, good luck, because she doesn't last anyway. She dies. Cheers, y'all. Spoiler alert. And so you've got that. We know where Furiosa ends up. She ends up back at the Citadel after them fleeing across the desert and then realizing, look, you can go forever in a day and you're not going to get anywhere. Do that. Why not turn back? Go through the chasing horde of Immortan Joe and his armies and the Bullet Farmers men and the guys from Gastown and the People Eater. Go back through them and go back to the Citadel because there's water there and there's people there that you can set free, and you know you can have a whole new life there, and whoever survives, which is what they do. And battered, broken, totally bruised to hell, they will part company at the end of Fury Road, because Max, we're harkening back to Max the Road Warrior. He's not going to be beholden to anyone for too long. He's not going to get too attached. He's haunted by the people he couldn't save. Of course, in the original Mad Max trilogy, it's the loss of his wife and son and his best friend, and everything he held dear is gone. So he's a beleaguered survivor, a warrior of the Wasteland. And that's the Tom Hardy version. But we don't learn too much of his backstory, but we had the flashbacks to the child, the little girl that he can't save, and presumably her mother. These are expanded on in the comic book graphic novels and the game as well, I think. But they haunt him. So he's a tragic, forlorn, battle-hardened warrior who doesn't want to get close to anyone because he fears the loss. And towards the end of Fury Road, he hasn't given his name out, and then finally says, Max. He's given a blood transfusion to the dying Furiosa. My name is Max. Yeah, Max. People often cite Tom Hardy's performance as being, he just phoned it in. He's mumbling. He's half asleep. But hello, have you seen Tom Hardy in anything else? He'd give Marlon Brando, a run for his money in the mumble sweepstakes. He's a mumbler, and he also uses a vast array of different accents. If his face isn't covered by a mask, or it's an aviator's oxygen mask, for Dunkirk, he will obscure his voice or manipulate his voice in different ways, because he, as an extremist actor, kind of wants you to really work hard to listen to what he's saying. He will tell you he's put his heart and soul into it. Even in Fury Road, if somebody say, oh no, he didn't care, didn't like it. He is giving a great performance, but it's a typical one of Tom Hardy. It's underplayed, it's understated, it's kind of realistic, and yet heightened at the same time. He can do this sort of thing, and it works. I had no problem with his performance whatsoever. I loved him as Max. I want to see him back as Max. I want to see Mel Gibson back as Max. But that's another story. We'll come on to that. Don't worry, we'll come on to that. Now, let's get back on this backlash again. There's the feminist angle, which again was thrown at Fury Road. They were saying it's all woke. It's just woke. It's a woman's story. Well, she's a fucking warrior. She's a kick-ass warrior who loses an arm. At some point in this movie, we're going to find out how she lost that arm, or most of that arm, and it gets replaced by a robot arm, with all that grippy finger metal thing. We're going to find that out. So this story is... Oh, no, let's get back to the backlash again. They're saying it's a feminist agenda, like they said with Fury Road, which I completely dispelled. I've got a very, very low threshold for woke or modern issues, societal issues, and agendas and narratives being thrust at me. I don't like them, I hate them, and I'm very vocal about it. I did not have that issue with Fury Road. I do not have that issue with this movie. I know I haven't seen the film yet, but it's of course it's her story. So it's a woman's story. She's abducted, and she's clearly taken to, well, it's got to be Immortan Joe. And we've got Immortan Joe back in it. Only, obviously, Hugh Keys-Byrne, the toe cutter, he knows who I am. He came back to play, he was the toe cutter in Mad Max 1979, and a great actor, a really OTT actor, very flamboyant, very eccentric, which is what George Miller goes for, flamboyance and eccentricity. That's what he likes. And people who can ride bikes and drive cars. I'm alright on the first bit, the flamboyance and eccentricity. I can't ride a motorbike and I can't drive a car. So I'm doomed, aren't I? I can hang off a vehicle at high speed. I've learned that with the way Mrs. Kilt-Man drives. Jesus. Cheers, y'all. So, where was I going with that? I've forgotten. It doesn't matter. I don't have this problem with any wokeisms with this. She's a female warrior, abducted. She will learn the ways of an imperator. These are his officers. These are his class, elite, special forces, Spetsnaz of the Citadel for Immortan Joe. They go out, they go to Gastown, they go to the Bullet Farmer. They will do any jobs, any other warring factions. They will go out and lead the war boys, who are all mutated. They're all dying of some kind of blood cancer. So they go out and they catch anyone in the Wasteland, bring them back, get their blood type, hang them up and have transfusions off them to keep themselves going. But they are like jihadists. They've pledged their life to Immortan Joe. But they believe they're dead already. But they want to go out in literally a blaze of gasoline-fueled glory. A big high-octane explosion, screaming all the way. And it's a lovely inversion of the words that we know. They talk about Valhalla, but they don't pronounce it as that. They talk about it as Walhalla. And it's all just George Miller having fun, playing with language, playing with people's ideas, playing with mythology, twisting it all around, stirring up the pot. And it's brilliant. So you've got Nux, played by Nicholas Hoult in Fury Road, and his mate Slit. Slit's, he's the Lancer, and like Nux is a Black Thumb, a mechanic. And they work on, so their religion is working on cars, working on engines, and they have all this sort of hierarchy from little lads, and they shave their heads and they cover themselves in ash and chalk to mimic the way that Immortan Joe looks. But they've pledged their lives. They're going to die in vehicular combat. That's what they want. But Nux, of course, will realise it's all wrong, and he comes to befriend Max and Furiosa, and especially one of the brides, of course, one of the wives of Immortan Joe. So Furiosa in this movie will be abducted at a young age, taken to Immortan Joe's Citadel, trained in. She'll obviously have to prove herself against whoever in combat, in contest, in whatever, and she will go right up through the ranks, lose an arm at some point, but she will become a very, very highly respected imperator. But the war boys are definitely here. The young Immortan Joe is there, and he's played by Tom Burke, who I think I mentioned in the previous video. He was Athos in the BBC's. Fantastic. Again, family friendly, because it was a Saturday evening, early evening version of The Musketeers. Ran for 3 seasons, and I loved it. It had a bit of ooh la la, a little bit of raunchiness, lots of action, and lots of people parading around in immaculate, fantastic leather suits. And I likes a bit of leather, boy does. And a bit of swordplay. But I love that. Now, he is playing the young Immortan Joe, and fuck me, he looks exactly like a young Immortan Joe. All of the tubes, the hair, the ashen face, the eyes, it's exactly right. So, obviously, Furiosa goes to Citadel, learns the ways of an imperator, and we're going to see her from a young girl rise up through the ranks. That's what's clearly going to happen. But also, we have another bad guy. And playing against type as a bad guy, it's Chris Hemsworth as Dementus, who is a warlord leader of a biker horde. Now, he looks amazing. He's got a prosthetic nose, yes, which has transformed him. I mean, you watch that trailer and you know Hemsworth's in it, but his name comes up, Chris Hemsworth, you know, huge in that ochre tinted, blighted sort of font. And you go, well, where is he? It can't be that. Well, there's the guy with the build of Thor. Oh, and he's actually wearing a red cape like Thor. And he's charging into battle. You know, motorised battle on a chariot pulled by 3 Harley Davidsons or something. Cheering his way into combat. That's Thor, that must be him. But it doesn't look like him. Because they put a big prosthetic pointy nose on him. And I think it's great. I think it's George Miller having fun. He's an established guy. He plays a hero. He's got a great sense of humour. Everyone loves him. Well, you're going to hate him in this. He's a bad guy. Now, is he a thoroughly bad guy? Well, if you look at that trailer, cheers, y'all. This is a brand new bottle and it's going to be down there by the time I finish. The first scene you see of him, you've got like a sort of a stockade or like maybe like a sort of a travelling sort of caravan tram-like thing with other people in it. They're not prisoners because there's a young girl in there clutching a little teddy bear. And he's got a big revolver and he says, "Lady and gentlemen, start your engines." And you see Furiosa is putting a skull face mask on. So she's involved in this, whatever this thing is, a race, a contest, whatever. She's involved in it. But you see that little girl and she's clutching her teddy bear. You see a shot of, again, wearing the skull helmet, Furiosa riding with presumably that little girl in front of it on a bike, heading towards, I think I said it was a citadel in the trailer reaction. I think it's actually Gastown she's going towards, but whatever. So she's took that little girl. Now, what me and my son have sort of worked out, or maybe speculating, we're speculating about a hypothesis. So it could all be complete and utter bullshit, but you see later on that Dementus, Chris Hemsworth, in that fantastic sleeveless hussars jacket with all the gold braid. You can bet your ass I'm getting one of those. I've got tons of uniforms in this house. My dad, big kilt papa, the military historian. Regular viewers know all about the backstory there, the history, the military history and all that, and everything that I've got. One of the things I really wanted was a proper hussars jacket with all that lovely gold braid and the trim waist. Note to self, you won't fit into one of those real, authentic hussars jackets because you ain't got a trim waist anymore, Kilt-Man. I'll work on that. But and he's got that with the sleeves cut off. Adamant used to wear this sort of stuff in his videos as well. But when you see him, he's got the teddy bear is wedged in his belt. Now, that's his daughter. I'm sure that's his daughter who's been taken there. And so not only has Furiosa been kidnapped and then been indoctrinated, but she's abducting another child. Possibly, it looks like Gastown, but possibly the child's for Immortan Joe. Because you see a shot, and you know, the ones who complain about the bad CG and the cheap looking things, this does look, I'll give it on this. You've got Immortan Joe on one side and big nose, pointy nosed Hemsworth on the other, facing off. It's just their faces staring at each other. You know, it's a standoff, and because clearly they're going to be enemies, I think, and it does look a bit cheesy, to be honest. I'll be honest when something doesn't look right, but it's a trailer, and it might be something you don't see in the film. It looks like something which is just a thematic. Oh, you're meant to pick up on that. These two are they're opposed to each other. So, because you see him, Dementus, Chris Hemsworth, with the doll down his belt, he wants his daughter back. Those of you who love Mad Max, the original one, Kundalini wants his hand back. He wants his daughter back. So they will be opposed. Hemsworth's Dementus is a warlord. He's got an army. Obviously, Immortan Joe has an army. We have the Bullet Farm will be there. The Gas Town will be there. So the People Eater. The thing is, the guy that played, what's his name? I've written it down. Richard Carter, who played the Bullet Farmer, he's died as well. So, but you're clearly going to see the younger versions of these guys, the People Eater and from Gastown and the Bullet Farmer, presumably. Now, Nathan Jones is Nathan Jones. You've been gone too long. Again, I distract myself. Great tuner, Bananarama, awesome. Got to mention Adam Ant. How many more bands and acts am I going to bring in from the 80s? Knowing me, plenty more. Sure. I mean, you had Tina Turner as anti-entity. For God's sake, you know. Angry Anderson was in there as well in Beyond Thunderdome. But, so some of them have died. You're going to have younger versions. Nathan Jones is Rictus Erectus. He's the big muscle-bound guy. He's the son of Immortan Joe. He was also the guy that Brad Pitt as Achilles slays at the start of Troy from Wolfgang Peterson. A great movie, if you watch the full uncut one, that is. But and he's a hulking brute, muscle-bound to hell. And he's great in Fury Road. And of course, he will die in Fury Road. So you can have a younger one of him. Now, although it's Anya Taylor-Joy is playing the younger Charlize Theron, but Nathan Jones is reprising his role there. I don't think you could have had Hugh Keays-Byrne anyway, even if he hadn't died. I don't know, he'd probably be, I don't know. I don't think it would have worked. Tom Burke looks like he's got this one nailed. But Immortan Joe has another son, Corpus Colossus, played by, and I can't believe I've forgotten his name, Quentin, Kenahan, who has osteogenesis imperfecta. He's the little guy who has the telescope up in the High Citadel in Fury Road, and he sees that Furiosa's gone off. She's gone off the road, you know, she's gone off the track, you know, go after her. And he's the one at the end when everyone in the Citadel realises, look, we can have water now because Furiosa's come back and she's worked the water out, so we don't need you anymore. And he's sitting there and he's got all breathing tubes and that. Well, Quentin had this horrible condition, and he gave a great performance, I thought. Sadly, he died after Fury Road as well, from complications of his condition. Now, he was a friend of mine on Facebook, and I spoke to him in about 2-3 months after Fury Road, and he got back many times. Such a lovely, lovely guy, and so sad. It's funny how a lot of the cast and crew of Mad Max 2, Beyond Thunderdome, and probably Fury Road, I just don't, well, apart from this guy, are active on social media, and if you send them a friend request, they will get back to you and they will talk to you. I've got many Emil Mincy, the Feral, he's there. There's many of them, and a lot of stuntmen as well. And what the Mad Max family is a huge family. It's global, but everyone who can gets to all the Mad Max conventions, and they're there. They're jalopies, they're dune buggies, they're interceptors, pursuit, or proper interceptor, you know, V8s. And, you know, they all meet up, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, and you can get some real good behind-the-scenes talk and spiel and rumour and gossip, and they all loved it. So, obviously, Rictus Erectus will be in this. He's in the cast list, so he's there. But I haven't seen anyone playing Corpus Colossus, and I hope someone is. I hope they don't, because in Fury Road, he does look like he could be older than Rictus. But, you know, I don't really know. I can't remember the backstory between the two. But it'd be nice that they don't just forget about the character, because he was great. He was great, to please bring him back. You don't see Nathan Jones in the trailer. Not this trailer. You don't anyway. But he's definitely back there. Also, you've got the organic mechanic is back. Now he's the guy that it's grim, and he went there. George Miller went there. I'll have to have a swig of this before I divulge this bit of info. Angus Simpson plays the organic mechanic, and organic, he works on people, bodies, and obviously Immortan Joe wants his brides fertile and to deliver, healthy babies. That's another quote there. And Angharad is one of the wives which Furiosa has helped escape from the Citadel, and she's heavily pregnant. And just when they think they got away with it, after the whole thing in the canyon with the biker, another biker gang who are fantastic, and they're leaping over the rig, and they're dropping like grenades and sort of colour bombs and stuff all over it, and it's just a tremendous battle sequence. And they've set explosions off and closed the canyon down so that Immortan Joe and his horde, all the war boys, People Eater and Bullet Farmer can't get through. But they do get through, and Immortan Joe and his big vehicle, which I forgot the name of now, it has a name, they manage to get round and they come after, hell for leather, they come after the rig and the wives. And Angharad has a sacrificial moment after doing a good deed, and she's clinging onto the side, heavily pregnant. She takes a tumble, and they drive over her, heavily pregnant woman. And Max just keeps on going. You've got to keep going. There's no two ways about it. So off they go. But obviously, Immortan Joe's in despair. So they bring in the organic mechanic, Angus Simpson, to perform a cesarean section. And he brings out, and he's pulling bits out, and he's snipping bits here. And he just goes, real shame. Another month would have been your viable human. Brings it up like that. And but was it healthy? Was it a boy? It was a boy, and it was healthy, yeah. And Rictus, and this is the thing about George Miller and his style, and the characters he brings in. They could be completely OTT ogres. They're just barbaric, horrible things, with no sense of morality, and yet they have got emotions, because he holds up the dead brother he would have had. And he says to all the war boys, I had a brother. I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect in every way. Because that's what he wants, trying to get healthy babies. And there's a sense of pride there, a sense of family. Yeah, it's pretty much forced rape, isn't it? You don't get unforced rape, do you? But, so it's a system which is horribly flawed, obviously, and very, very barbaric. But they have a sense of family, and Rictus shows this. Nathan Jones is great. So I want to see in Furiosa, Rictus, and the situation and the connection and relationship he has with his dad, Immortan Joe, and obviously I want to see Corpus Colossus there as well. There could be other brothers that don't last. Who knows? There's a whole spectrum of people and characters which you don't know about. There is, if you cast your eye down the cast list, which I did, of course, there is a pregnant woman, or pregnant wife, I think it says. So, is she going to be one of Immortan Joe's harem? Does she give birth to Corpus Colossus, perhaps? Because that could be a thing. It's not a healthy baby, Isn't it funny how the name osteogenesis imperfecta, which is what Paul Quentin suffered from, that sounds like a character name from the Mad Max universe, doesn't it? And thankfully, and I can tell Miller would have thought could use that as a net, and he didn't. And I'm just interjecting that, I know, but it does sound like a name that he would have come up with. Anyway, so what have we worked out so far? We haven't talked much about Furiosa herself, have we? Well, she could lose an arm, isn't she? We see in the trailer, we see the green place, we see that, so it definitely existed. It isn't the boggy swampland that we see it has become in Fury Road, which drives her to despair. It's a genuine fertile Garden of Eden. We see Furiosa, young Furiosa, with somebody else, a man. Is it that Timothy Chalamet? No, yeah. I only mention that because I'm sick of that bloody advert he's in right now. I know he's in that upcoming Wonka movie and Dune Part 2, but he's in this fucking aftershave advert. Oh God, these pretty boys doing these fucking aftershave adverts. I hate them. Hate them. I don't mind the women doing the perfume ads. And doesn't Charlize Theron do one of them as well? Yeah? See? It's all tied in. Go to Wasteland and you come back stinking, but you get a great big deal to smell yourself to paradise and megabucks of advertising. But Anya Taylor-Joy, George Miller saw her in a very early preview of Last Night in Soho. A great modern giallo, dream-shifting, time-travelling, haunting, ghost slasher pick from Edgar Wright. Brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Fabulous movie. And she's great in it as well. Well, he saw a rough cut, a sort of preview of that, and he went, "You'll do. Bring it on, sister. Come to Australia." So she did. And you do see her, she hasn't got the shaved head of Furiosa, the Charlize Theron era, but she's putting the all the oil and the grease all over her fod. This is what they do when they're going into battle. And you see her on the road of Broken Hill, Monday. You see her there. And you see her doing various other stuff. You see her rise out of the ash of this broken landscape, comes up in slow motion and shakes the hair and all that. That could be a bloody aftershave or perfume advert in its own right. And you see her with this guy as well, cradled it again in like what looks like a cleft in like a cliffside. I have no idea who that is. Is that someone that she will fall in love with, who will probably die? I don't know. Certainly hasn't got no fella in Fury Road, so this guy, his days clearly are numbered. But you see her doing a fair bit of action and stunt work and driving around. So the film is not going to skimp out on the action. It will not be a watered down, sanitised version. It will kick ass big time. Of that, I can guarantee. George Miller will not let you down on this. Okay, Beyond Thunderdome, it's still a violent movie, and there's still a stonking great, chase sequence in it. But you had the Thunderdome sequence with chainsaws and great big bloody hammers and mallets and things and it's wonderful stuff. But it's not as carnage heavy though, and a lot of it's played more for laughs sort of thing. But it's still ingeniously exciting. Then you get Fury Road, and he put the emphasis on fury because everyone's taking a tumble, everyone gets battered, bruised. I love the fact that you see Tom Hardy, and he's, again, like Mel Gibson in Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, he cut his own hair, so it's kind of like scrappy, short, but you've got longer strands. It looks, because you've got no barbers and mirrors out there, so he's just using a knife and just shaving it off, and it grows back all awkwardly. So, but you see him with part of his scalp is lifted off at one stage. Well, you see, because you see it afterwards. He had a smack on the back of the head and all that, and you see that big, it's lifted up and it's raw, it's red raw viscera underneath. And you're like, it's a little detail which didn't need to be there. Because it is, you notice it and you go, ooh, ow, that's got a fucking hurt that. Especially when you get sand and grit in it as well. So I love all of this. I love the attention to detail. And with Fury Road, he's not going to back down and make this the Beyond Thunderdome of the new trilogy of movies. If you count this as the trilogy, which I don't know how it's going to work out. There'll be 3 movies certainly: Fury Road, Furiosa, and then Mad Max. Mad Max 5, definitely a Mad Max saga. with Mad Max actually in it. See, this is the weird thing as well. Max, would he make some kind of distant cameo? Would you see the Interceptor prowling over sand dunes in the distance? Does he take part in that contest earlier on with the younger Furiosa? Does he take part in that? Will you just see another driver who just in the end just, fuck this, and just plows off into the wild blue, or the wild orange in this case? Because you could do that. I'm going to bring Tom Hardy back for it. You're going to have anyone, but we recognise that Interceptor, and we know how George Miller likes to fuck with us on the black on black V8 Interceptor. The tease in Mad Max, they used that to lure Max Rokitansky back to stay with the MFP, because any more time out there, and I'm out there with the psychos, and because he's going crazy and all that, like. But so it's a toy to seduce him back into the ranks and keep their hero, with them on side. And you see it at its best, obviously, in Mad Max 1. It does more in that. In Mad Max 2, you get the chase at the beginning. You get a slight bit of stuff later on. But then it gets crashed and blown up. Blown up! So everyone's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Love that car. It's one of the most iconic vehicles in fantasy cinema. In cinema, in general. So, of course, right at the start of Fury Road, you see it there. And it looks like it's vomited. The door's open and all this stuff's hanging out. And it looks like the car's going out the side. And it also looks, and this was the first poster, and you had the car there, and you had the vast landscape, the yellow and the blue. And you had this figure standing there who looks like he's having a piss. I said it a lot when I reviewed the film when it first came up back in the day. It looks like he's having a bloody big piss in the desert. But it's back to us. But we know he's having a drink of water. We know what he's doing because the camera does come round. And it's when Tom Hardy's got the long hair, the big, massive Grizzly Adams beard. But it looks like he's having a piss. But that chase sequence there, the war boys come after him because they were trying to get people for the blood bank. They call him Blood Bank. They don't give him names, just Blood Bank. That's all you're good for. And then the chase, and they use their thunder sticks, those big lances with the big explosives on them, and they overturn the V8. You've barely seen the bastard, and it gets overturned in that Namibian orange sand, and it's just destroyed. It gets rebuilt, it gets revamped, and Nux' mate Slit, who's his lanceman, drives it in the big final chase, and it gets crushed and destroyed. That's it completely flips over, but sideways, not front to back, and it's great. But it's George Miller. He's like, I know all you petrol heads, you all want to see that car. Well, I'm not going to give it to you. Oh, he's a twat. George, you're a twat. I can't even drive. Regular viewers know this. I could have bought one of the Interceptors, the Ford Falcons, which only a limited number were made. They were the muscle car of the Mustang variety, but it was purely Australian, and you could buy them. And there were companies in Australia which would find them for you. Now, I had a company who said, we can get one for you. Do you want it in the red and yellow and blue of the MFP colours from Mad Max? I've given the accent there as well. Do you want it in the red, yellow and blue of the MFP colours? From Mad Max 1? Or do you want it as the black on black? Do you want it black on black, shiny, black on black, battered to hell? And they do the interiors as well. Put the little seat inside the door for the feral kid and all that. Well, feral kid, it's for dog basically. And the radio would work and would play MFP transmissions. And this is way back. Well, the film was coming out. This was the run up to Fury Road. So I'm talking about 2014, something like that. 2014. I could have bought one for 85,000 Aussie dollars. And with that, you get whatever car you wanted, done up the way you want it to be, and they'd ship it. Now, I live, Kilt Mansion, his own citadel, resides on the northwestern tip of the Wirral Peninsula in the UK. And they'd have shipped it here and delivered it. And I don't drive the car. You can't park it out there. I've got a moat for one thing. I'm not going to park it on the other side. But they could have come over the drawbridge and dropped it in the grounds at the back. all for the princely sum of 85,000 Aussie dollars, and I could have had an Interceptor. And I was in communication with the guy for quite some time, and he said we could find one. Because what they do, they troll around, because people buy them, they sell them, and they buy them again and sell them on and blah, blah, blah. But they find these vintage ones and they will do them up. And I said, look, I'm not going to be driving this thing. He said, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your V8 will be hood mounted, which in this country is a problem anyway. You can't really have that much on the hood of your car, because apparently there's more damage if you hit somebody. They might survive being hit by the front of it, like the bumper, but if they travel over the bonnet, they'll be sliced up on the V8 over mounted engine. The music for Fury Road. We'll talk about this and what's coming. So I didn't buy it in the end, and weirdly enough, what are we now? We're December now. About 4 months ago, I got an email, and it's off this guy. He said, we've got another one if you're interested, because obviously I didn't buy one at the time. He said, we've got another one, do you want it? It was the same price. The world has changed massively. You know, inflation, you know, cost of living crisis, pandemics, and it was the same. It hadn't gone up. It was like, wow. And I really thought, oh, you should do it, just do it. I didn't do it. I've got it in miniature, it's there. But no. And what am I going to do with it anyway? I'm going to sit in it and just make brum brum noises and listen to the little radio. And of course it'll be the transmission going to Goose. Goose, Goose. Come on, Goose, where the hell are you? Much damage. But you get the Knight Rider Vince Gill. You get the Knight Rider and his spiel. I am the Knight Rider, sent down by the Almighty to strike down the unroadworthy. The mighty hand of vengeance. He's fucking great. Oh, God, what a great guy. Oh, cheers, you all. Cheers, Vince. Cheers, all you Knight Riders and toe cutters and black thumbs and all you papagallos and humonguses out there. But not you, Toady. You little shit, aren't you? He laughs when Dog gets killed, when the gay boy berserker, the cop, the uniform in Mad Max 2, it was his crossbow and kills Dog. Oh. Right, music-wise, for Fury Road, we had Tom Holkenberg, Junkie XL, the artist formerly known as Junkie XL. And listen to this. This is Brothers in Arms. This is the canyon scene with the bikers flying all over the place, like, and they've dropped the canyon wall down. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's all industrial. There's a lot of synth, a lot of heavy percussion, but you've got the sizzling violins. I've just noticed how I look. Max's jacket, all of this, the Tom Hardy top underneath, and a Santa hat, and I'm playing an air violin. Listen. Oh, it's fucking great. Because there's emotion there. It isn't just, it's just droning action music. There's no themes. Oh, fucking open your ears. Well, Tom Holkenberg is doing the score for Furiosa as well. Thankfully. Because that score for Fury Road is incredible. We'll play a bit more, but wow, what a score. Powerful. Sizzling, really exciting, energized, and yet tinged in many elements with tragedy and pathos, and with a great sort of final, but we'll come on to that, guy. There's a track which breaks me in two. Won't that be fun watching? A bit like Angarad being driven over by Immortan Joe's vehicle. I had a brother, little baby brother. I've got no baby brother. in the Kilt clan, I am the baby brother. I wonder if they're going to bring back the Doof warrior, you know, played by Iota, and his actual name, the character name is Coma, and they've got those bleach white drummers on the back, taiko drums pounding away, and he's suspended, you know, and he's swinging out in that red jumpsuit, playing a big fucking flamethrower guitar. It's so wacky. It's so brilliant. There's a scene cut out there because Max has to fight all those drummers, and they cut. You see it in the finished theatrical cut. You do see there's a moment when Max is there and he's taking on the Doof warrior. But suddenly they do scramble up all the drums to go for him, but the scene itself is cut out. Could you really have any more action during that final big chase, George? Yes, we could. But I respect your decisions. So will the Doof warrior be back in it? I haven't seen him listed in a sort of cast rundown. But it'd be great, because it'd be nice to have all these things tied up. This is a prequel that's going to run, presumably, almost directly into Fury Road, I think. So, what else are we going to talk about? So, Tom Hulkenberg, you heard his stuff in the trailer, and it's just an extension of this. It's driving, it's relentless, it's exciting, it's sizzling stuff, like, and it gets you. It makes me want to get on a motorbike and drive it straight through the side of a double-decker bus. I can't even ride a bicycle properly. I learned that a long time ago. I can fucking drive a tank though, and drive a tractor, believe it or not. Who'd have thought that? Can't drive a car. See, I need open fields. Then I can drive around like crazy. Or open desert. The Wasteland. Maybe I am perfectly suited to this. It's just having other vehicles around me. I have the desire to run them off the road. And to mount twin 50 caliber machine guns on the hood. Or the bonnet in the UK. The bonnet in the UK. Right. What else we got to talk about? Talk about Dementus, Chris Hemsworth, and I reckon that his daughter gets taken. Whether she's abducted and becomes another character that we may have seen in Fury Road, I don't know. One of the brides, possibly so. Or she's taken and she's killed. But he has that teddy down his belt. And you've got to give him a reason why he hates Immortan Joe, because they're clearly going to be opposed. He wouldn't have that shot otherwise. So he's got to be a rival faction. But he's got to be quite a strong, intimidating faction as well. I mean, riding around on that 3 motorbike chariot thing that he's got there, with his red cape billowing. And we see him hanging onto the edge of a cliff with enormous bullet casings sliding over him and a big fiery pit down below. Well, that's got to be the bullet fob. Got to be. So you've got his Odyssey. It's not just Furiosa's, it's going to be his Odyssey as well. And he clearly will either die or he will have redemption and just fuck off into the sunset. Because this will be as much his story as it will be Furiosa's. I'm staking these claims right now. You've got to have a reason why he is doing what he's doing. And he's clearly charismatic as well, even with his strange, eagle fucking pointy beak that they've given him. I still love it. I think it's a great idea. Transform, Hollywood's favourite, go-to, good boy, good-looking, chivalrous and yet goofy action hero, and make him into a really angular-faced, aquiline sort of villain. But you're going to give him a reason why he's doing what he's doing, and I think you'll sympathise with him. A bit like Magua in Last of the Mohicans, who's one of the most detestable, yet incredibly, you're addicted to him, villains from Last of the Mohicans, played by Wes Studi. But when you get his backstory as to why he's doing what he's doing, he lost his wife and his family, they were butchered, and he vowed a blood vengeance. Well, you get it. You'd be the same. And I love this. there are people in this world who are genuinely bad. They're born bad, they act bad, and they just get badder and badder and badder. They love it. They're good at being bad. But you get people who, they're bad because fate just took a different swerve on them. And they're doing what they're doing because they think they're doing the right thing. And this covers, not just people on the street, or local villains, but soldiers, generals, politicians. They're doing what they're doing because they think it's the right thing to do. But the rest of us are like, no, it's abhorrent. But no, you don't understand. It's because of... So you got to do this. You got to give, especially OTT spectacular villains, like clearly Dementus is going to be one of these. You got to give them a reason d'etre to why they're doing what they're doing. And I think you get a lot of screen time, and I think you'll come away loving him. Again, I'm speculating about a hypothesis. I'm good at that. About the backlash, the people have been really saying, "Oh, it looks shit. It looks mediocre. It's cheesy. It's like a bad video game. It's a cartoon." Well, fuck off. But it's all feminist. It's all woke agenda. You do not know that. You don't know that at all. And I seriously don't think that George Miller will go down that road. But most of the complainants have been American. I look at a lot of American sites. I look at a lot of British sites, forums and stuff like that. And I have definitely noticed this, that Americans seem to be the ones who are picking fault with that trailer and the whole idea and premise of Furiosa. They're the ones having a problem. I don't know why. Well, some of you said what your issues are, but there's no ground in them, I don't think. But on the flip side, the British people on British originated forums and sites are really behind this movie. Now, I can't even pretend to understand any sort of geopolitical reasons for that. I don't know. But it seems the British film fans are really looking forward to this and behind it, whereas certainly the ones who've written on the forums I've looked at, American, and they're clearly Americans, don't like it and are being really derogative about it. So I don't get that. I don't understand what there's no culture difference really, I don't think. It's fucking Australia, for God's sake. Scrowy, mate, scrowy. I'm sorry. I've got several good friends from down under as well. I'm joking. But I don't get it. I'm not seeing what their complaints are. The film looks electrifyingly exciting. It bleeds into the visual aesthetic of Fury Road. We know some of the effects are not rendered completely. Some of these shots will probably not be in the movie at all. I mean, that Immortan Joe and Dementus face-off, I've got a feeling that's not going to be in there. Or if it is, it won't look like that, put it that way. This is the beauty. Again, I keep addressing regular viewers, but regular viewers know that I massively hyped up Halloween Kills and did 1,000,001 videos for it in the run up to it, and then saw it and despised it, and had to really I didn't eat my words. I just said what I felt, and I detest Halloween Kills. I've got more admiration for Halloween Ends, even though I hate that as well. And I hate David Gordon Green. I hate him! I tell you, I hate him! Absolute hack director. Really, really bad. He's not a horror genre director. Don't care what anyone says. He's fucking rubbish at it. And so yeah, in the end, despite it's radical, Halloween Ends, I hate it. And his Exorcist Believer, well, I have discussed that. Now I know I've fallen into this trap of hyping things before, and this is what dickheads like us on YouTube do all the time. But I used to do it with the written word for newspapers. I did it on radio. I did it for various older forums, and wrote massive filmic essays. And I tried to tout and big up forthcoming movies, which wasn't kind of the done thing. used to review a thing itself. You didn't really big up stuff, but I'd try to bleed little, like, I'm excited about this, and I'd throw it into like the final paragraph, you know, and really sow the seed of a bit of hype. And yeah, I'd do it all over again now. But I'm a massive devotee of Mad Max, The Wasteland, and George Miller. Yeah, you know, Happy Feet, Babe, Witches of Eastwick. The best sequence of Twilight Zone, the movie, with John Lithgow reprising the William Shatner role, with the gargoyle on the wing, the gremlin on the wing of the plane. Fucking amazing. The guy is a visceral, visual storyteller. Oh, everyone heaps praise at the feet of Ridley Scott, the most cantankerous bastard in Hollywood. An irritable swine, and but a great filmmaker. But for every great film he makes, he does about 3 or 4 which you're like, why did you do it? House of Gucci, White Squall, you know, oh, Hannibal. Oh, I know. But there's a lot of films he's made which, Jesus, you hype yourself something chronic, and yet you deliver. Oh, the big elephant in the room, Prometheus, Alien Covenant. Oh no. For me, George Miller has not put a foot wrong. He's done different things, and they might be critically applauded, but they've not been massive, wowing crowd pleasers. Well, Happy Feet was. Babe's bloody big movie, for God's sake. But just because it's not what you expect from the guy that created Mad Max, the Road Warrior, you know, leave it at. Come on, he's done more stuff, but this is what we know and love, and in this, he doesn't let us down. Doesn't. I mentioned Mel Gibson coming back. Well, here's one for you. I seriously don't think that Mel Gibson would be opposed to coming back to a cameo appearance in a Mad Max movie. He doesn't talk about Mad Max movies at all. Gibson's a very strange, volatile, exciting, dangerous, unpredictable character. An addictive, a person full of addictions. That's rich coming from me, obviously. But he's said and done a lot of bad things. But he's a great actor. He's a wonderful director. Oscar winner, for God's sake. You know, and he's a fantastic personality. And he can lift the lid on the Hollywood shitstorm that's been bubbling underneath it for decades. Well, 100 years, basically. And he could blow the lid off that. Now, he doesn't talk about Mad Max. Doesn't. All the versions that have come out of the Mad Max trilogy and Fury Road, where's he? Marked absence, no commentaries. Having said that, the commentary he did for Braveheart was one of the worst I've ever heard. He was silent for most of the bloody movie. And the one great quote from that commentary is the scene where William Wallace, of course he plays William Wallace. What? Oh no, I'm wearing the hunting McLeod today. Sorry folks, I'm not wearing anything remotely Wallace related because William Wallace didn't wear a kilt. No, he didn't. And in the scene where he's like, he says to everyone like, you know, you hate the clans, you know, you people will not stand together. And on the commentary track, Gibson says like, oh God, here's this line, you know, like, I say, you people will not stand together. And look at the next shot. There's 150 people in a big stone walled room, all hemmed in together. They are exactly doing the standing together thing he accuses them of not doing. You won't stand together. They're all, you couldn't get anyone else in there. And Gibbs, you could tell that on the comedy, he's like that. Jesus, why did no one tell me? Why did no one pick up on this? But otherwise, it's a very sparse and sporadic commentary. But his input to all the releases of the Mad Max movies on disc has been absolutely conspicuous by its absence. Now, you get Mad Max 5. and it's Tom Hardy, or whoever, presumably Tom Hardy. And you could get, this is what I was saying to my son the other night, and even he went, could work. Hear me out. And George, if you're listening, I'm either onto you, or you can use this, but just give a bit of recognition to Kilt-Man. And Mad Max and whoever his entourage will be are going to get themselves boxed into a corner. They may have a bit of respite, but the enemy horde is going to be on them come dawn. And then someone suddenly in the background you hear like, now I can't whistle. I'm sorry folks, I can't whistle. But one of those, they go like, I can't whistle. Can't. I can blow kisses, but I can't whistle. And you all turn around, and there you've got the grizzled old Mad Max lookalike, because he won't be Max, obviously, but it's Mel Gibson. He says, if you want to get out of here, you talk to me. So you get like a sequence where he will either show them, look, that tunnel there, or like, there's a plane over there. So you can have Bruce Spence, the gyro captain, or Jedediah from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You could have him there as well. And if you, that's going to be the finale of the Mad Max franchise, movie-wise, which I don't think Miller would do anymore after this. That would be perfect. He wouldn't be Max, but would we decry that? There's your Max character you're following, but there's Mel Gibson in battered leathers, and you have a bit of MFP sort of, insignia and badge wear on him. And he's only in for like literally 2-3 minutes. Go this way, I've got a vehicle out there. You can use that, and it would bring the roof down, and that's all you need. So, folks, I'm gonna end this on we're going a bit of chapter doof. And this is the big finale chase. So it's going to be great to go back to Broken Hill. It's searing stuff, isn't it? You've got twanging violins and cellos there as well, because they're being slashed with the bow, and they're being plucked as well, and like just run your thumbnail across them. It's friggin' hot under one of these, It's -2 out there right now, and I've got to take the dog out into that. Everywhere in the UK got snow, except here. And I've got a husky. The one thing she wants in life is snow. No, the one thing she wants in life is food. But snow's down there somewhere. And it's raining. It's actually, it's coming down as sleet. So it's like it's frozen rain. So they're bullets coming down. And as they're coming down, they're melting, So they're literally bullets hitting you. And it ups the ante all the time. The action is just out of this world. And again, for all you CGI bastards out there, Fury Road, it was all physical stunts. It was practical vehicles, real vehicles overturning, and real stuntmen flying off at high speed, doing colossal jumps. You watch the background footage, they're doing it for real. The CG enhanced the landscapes, the meteorological effects, the massive sandstorm, citadels seen from a distance, Fuck off. And the drums. God, I get too worked up with these things. I really do. I'm 54, you know. You're never too old to get excited. As I say to the missus every night. Because she's older than me. So the CG enhanced some of... It just streamlined some of the effects. The wires throwing some people out. The bags that they're landing onto. But they're still doing the real effects. George Miller prided himself on this. I've got an army of stuntmen and they're going to go through hell on this movie, which they did. And they'll be doing the same thing on this. So all you naysayers, oh, it's just CG, oh, it looks dead cheap. It's a fucking trailer. Oh, well, the Fury Road trailer came out and it blew us all away because you didn't expect that. Now you're expecting that again. And what you're getting is just... That trailer's more of a teaser than a trailer, to be honest. It shows a lot of stuff, but you've got no real basis as to what's going on there. The who's who sort of thing. I've delivered that to you. I've told you who they are. That's fantastic, isn't it? Going back to this, no themes. There's a fucking theme for you there. And the theme is chaos, shiny and chrome. Yeah, I want to see how Tom Burke delivers the great persona of Immortan Joe. Hugh Keys-Byrne was such a character, a darling guy to speak to. Can I stretch this out any further? You know? Yes, I can. Hope you're still here. I'm going to be covering a lot more of Furiosa in the weeks and months leading up to the release. I saw Fury Road at the premiere, dressed with the full hit, the shotgun, everything, the leg brace, the works, the nebulizer, the South African ammo survival vest, everything, the paracord wristband, the works. I used to sport the Mad Max 2 blonde streak when I had shorter hair. But if you look closely, there is little shafts of grey. Kind of looks more blonde, but there's little slivers of grey crept in. And that's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So I'm still there, folks, I'm still there. So we've got so many cast members who are repeating, who are returning. You've got new people taking over other roles, original roles. You're getting an earlier story, but you're going to find that all these characters all come together. This has the hallmarks of being absolutely amazing. And a personal thing of mine, as I said before, in some of these contests or championships or whatever trials that they're going through, start your engines. That was not in the least bit Australian there, but who cares? If you had in the background or the periphery of a frame a black on black V8 Interceptor was there, and it just veers off and just frigs off, but we'd know. And you got Max was there. Ah, God, I hope he does something like that. You haven't got to show the guy. You haven't got to do it. You haven't got to show Max at all. Although, how cool would it be if you had Mel Gibson? Who the hell knows? Right, I'm going to go on to it. You've heard the action stuff. But we're going to end on this. This has left them up. This is when they've gone back and they've thrown the carcass of Immortan Joe onto the deck with his fucking face ripped off as well, like. And they brought Furiosa back to life with a blood transfusion. And they get on the lift, and the feeders, the big boobage, the feed babies, do the switches and turn the water over, and all the little war boys are all like, "Oh, we can do this now, can we?" And poor Corpus Colossus is just there like, "My dad's dead. Where's my brother? Oh." And they go up on the lift to be taken to the heights, where all the gardens are on the top of this sort of twin peaked cleft in the middle of the wasteland. And Max does this thing. Tom Hardy does this thing. I don't know if it's an Antipodean thing. Peter Jackson had all this signature thing where people, like hobbits especially, when they're saying goodbye, they kind of, especially Frodo at the end, he's going off to the Grey Havens, and now everyone's crying their eyes out, and he just goes like, he does that thing, he just goes like, and the sidles off. It's a little nod, a semi-wink, and a mischievous gleam, and they all do it at some point. All the hobbits do it at some point, and it happens at the end of it, well, sort of at the end of Fury Road, sort of. Kilt-Man, you don't have clutch at straws, don't you? Because when they go up on the lift, and I'm going to play the music in a moment, whole thing builds up, and you've got pure Furiosa, missing an arm. She's battered, stabbed, one eye's fucking closed over, and like she's looking back, and Max is in the crowd. As she rises up, Max is in the crowd, and he just sort of goes, and walks off into the crowd. And I always think, are you playing on the Peter Jackson Hobbit farewell of mischief, and I'll be back, don't worry about me. Okay, I'm gonna do it. See, listen to this though. All the bombast and all the adrenaline rush, and then you get this. People, it's just industrial drone. It's just relentless. Boom, 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 boom. And it's not. To depict vehicular mayhem and speed, velocity and violence, you need that sort of thing. But the emotional high points are hit with strings. Strings always depict emotion. Because they can reach into the sky and they can striate the heavens, whilst also raking your own heart apart. I can't play any instruments. Well, I can play the bongos. Who can't? Just hit them. I wish I could play something like the piano, because the piano is used for anything. You can, people who play the piano and they're composers. I want the brass to come in, but they can play like the brass elements on the piano, and they can do anything could be translated onto the piano to depict how it should. Well, this is the tune, these are the notes, these are the chords, this is what I want to hear. Oh, here we go. Let them up. And that's the thing where let them up, and all the crowds give us water, and I'll let them up as well. And the carcass of Immortan Joe's hoofed off the side of his own vehicle. See, don't have to go down this stuff, Still got the drums. and everyone's like all jubilant, there's water coming down. The guy with no teeth. And the guy who's got no legs as well, like, he shuffles out the hole in the ground. Vocals. After all you've been through, the epic violence, chases and sagas, and redemption, it's a glorious musical payoff. Here we go. This is where she's their farewell. Goes off into the crowd. Just a shoulder plate in the distance. And it lifts. Jesus, folks. There you go. That's a deeper exploration of Furiosa. We've thrown in the background of the original Mad Max movies. We talked about them, talked about Mel Gibson, we talked about the actors in Fury Road, Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy, and everybody else, and all the characters. And we've talked about the new characters, the new actors to inhabit these characters, and the new world that we're going to explore. I'm still immensely looking forward to this. I have not been this excited for anything cinematically for a long time. I'm not counting Halloween Kills or any of that shit. Nothing's really blown me away. There's been things that I've been looking forward to, obviously, but this, I didn't expect to be as smitten with Furiosa as I've turned out to be. And I said to you in the previous video, I deliberately stayed away from all background stuff on forums and sites, Mad Max sites. I've not looked at any of it, which I was glued to them for Fury Road. And for this, I didn't do it. I didn't do it at all. And but now I've seen that trailer, and despite what a lot of you are saying, cheesy, no, instead cheap. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're looking with jaundiced eyes, and what I saw was profoundly exciting, immensely, vividly visceral, and genuinely imaginative, and it fits right on in with the whole new visual aesthetic and ethos of the Mad Max world. So, and I want to see Furiosa's Odyssey. We know how it ends, or do we? Will there be like sort of a post-credit scene of Furiosa just after this? Queen Furiosa, Immortan Furiosa, if you will. No. You know me, I'm gonna do it again. I can't let go. I can't let go of this bottle. I'll be there day one for this. Hopefully in London premiere. Hopefully, if somebody wants to invite me, I'll be in full costume. The full costume of a guy that's not actually in the movie. But what does that matter? I'm not going to wear like Furiosa stuff. I might wear, because in the lead up, you'll see more imagery, more stills. And I know the sites that will find, well, he's wearing this, he's wearing that, he's got these boots, he's got that belt, blah, blah, blah. And I'll endeavour to get Dementus' stuff. What am I saying? I can't afford jack shit these days. Apart from this stuff. Folks, I have been always trying to be Kilt-Man. So please, in the meantime, and this ever, who knows what to expect? Speculating about a hypothesis in between time. Please keep it kilted, keep it counting. Keep fighting. And keep the dream alive. Politics lets us down. Social life lets us down. The movies keep us alive and talking. And with things to look forward to. Not movies. Movies are the dreams. They're the ideas that can propel us. I would say to a better world, but there's hope there though, isn't there? I'm going to see you all